Okay, so first and foremost, I want to get to you guys that mental health is mainly managing you. Why I say managing you? Because, you know, when we make ourselves aware of our mental health and the importance of it, then we can actually start targeting, you know, how to make it better and how we can help ourselves and our children. So I want to go through some airplane rules. The only rule I want you all to remember throughout this is, you know, when you're in the airplane and they pulled up, when the air hostesses are doing all their instructions and they tell you, in the case of an emergency and the masks come down, you have to put your mask on first. You know, as a parent, in the beginning, you know, before as a parent, that wasn't an issue. But after as a parent, I thought, what? I want to save my child first, not me. But the truth is, I'm actually more equipped to save my child when I put my mask on first. All right. So I want you guys to just keep that in the back of your head. As much as we want to help our kids and we want to be like really good parents, we have to take care of our mental health first before we start really worrying about theirs. Because a lot of times, what we don't realize is that as parents, we have a very big part to play in our kids' mental health, okay? How we treat with them and the things that we do with them are usually the things that have a very big impact into how they see themselves. Now, if my self-esteem is really low, I'm going to be talking to my child from a place of fear. And if I'm talking to my child from a place of fear or loneliness or worry, then what's going to be communicated to that child are those things, not the message. So I don't know if you all know that most of what we say isn't really remembered, but actually almost everything that we do, we remember. Okay? So a little bit about wellness on the whole. If we think of wellness, wellness in itself exists on a continuum. A continuum basically means it could be all good or it could be all bad, as to the point of death, right? And with your wellness part, what we call a paradigm is basically a way of looking at things from the top, like an eagle view. So on one hand, we have premature death or death occurring because somebody was unable to take care of their health, right? And of course, we, on the other hand, we have a high level of wellness. So if you have a high level of wellness, then you have good growth, then chances are your education and your awareness is going to be really good. And on the other hand, if you have signs and symptoms that are negative, that are not being treated, it then leads to the point of disability or even as far as death, okay? Now, most people exist along this continuum depending on what's happening in their lives, all right? So if we're fair with ourselves, we know that not all the time we're like at a high level of wellness, but at the same time, we try to keep that going, okay? So mental health now, it's the same concept. I'm not saying anything that's different, but the thing is, we're okay with talking about health, but we're not okay with talking about mental health, because you know what you guys think when I say mental health? Some people think of mental health as that crazy guy that's out there like climbing poles or being naked or pelting you with stuff that he shouldn't be pelting you with, or, you know, really daft out on drugs, you know, or that vagrant. Most of you people, especially if they're not aware of mental health in general, tend to think of things in terms of, you know, it's that unspeakable person you don't want to talk about, or that guy that runs about the place, you know, talking in a particular way. All right, when it's a whole lot more. So being mentally healthy is actually normal mood. Your mood doesn't fluctuate. Something happens to you and you're cool about it. You know, your performance, you consistently perform in all different aspects of your life. In terms of your sleep, you sleep well. When I say sleep well, as adults, we're really naughty with sleep, right? But a normal sleep pattern means nighttime comes, you know to go to bed on time, you get up at a reasonable time, not excessive hours on either side. Also, you're physically and socially active. Now, I know with COVID, we can't really do that, but at the same time, you know, just that awareness that we need to be able to know that being human is both physical and social, right? Especially in Trinidad. And of course, our self-confidence and our ability to interact with others is also very high, right? Being comfortable in different situations is normal. Now, somebody who's starting to react, you know, where they're starting to show signs of distress is actually going to be more irritable, impatient. They may have cases where, you know, they would just be sad, they're not too sure why, or they may feel very nervous. They may start to worry a little bit more than before, or, you know, if they have something to do, they'll take their time before getting that done. They may have problems now with sleeping, or if they try to go to sleep, they don't go right off to sleep. So they may stay and be studying. Oh gosh, what about my day? You know, I kind of talking to anybody here. Does this sound like anybody? You know, you have energy, but it's a little lower than you'd like it to be. You may have difficulty with relaxing. And you know, you ever walk around sometimes and touch your shoulders and realize, oh, this thing is hard. You didn't realize you were tense, right? Because you're walking around most of the time with so much stress that you don't really notice that you're stressed. Now, when somebody starts to need professional help, is normally when you're having things like anger becoming part of, you know, their lives where they lash out at other people, right? To the point that you may even have times when, you know, they may actually hurt somebody they care about. You would also have feelings of worthlessness, feelings of hopelessness, and those can go on to be proper signs of depression, right? Also somebody with decreased performance. So stuff that they would have liked before, then they'd have problems in getting those things done. And then you'd find that, you know, people would notice, you know, he or she is not so social anymore. They're staying by themselves, you know, they avoiding people. And you may even have a case where you start having disturbed, you know, sleep to the point that you can't sleep at all. And of course, eventually this could lead to suicidal behaviors and thoughts. All right. So if you know that you're starting to feel so overwhelmed that it's becoming into proper thoughts, then I mean, I have no problem with leaving my number, you know, being accessible, that, you know, you all can actually come and get somebody. We can refer you to people that can help. All right. Because as much as this week has been for our kids, and that's all well and good, if 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 we're not together, then it's going to make it harder for us to be able to be there for them. All right. So factors that affect mental health. Now, I talked about awareness before. You would hear me talking a lot about awareness, because some of us, you know, do we know that we're not feeling well or we're not feeling good about whatever's happening? Also, energy levels. If you have a high energy level and everything's going good and you're full of energy and you're going, then you find your mental health usually follows to also be quite positive, right? If you're getting adequate rest and adequate relaxation. How about your finances? If your finances is problematic, then chances are it's going to have you worrying more. Or, you know, like right now with COVID, a lot of us are really having problems with, you know, managing finances. And with the kids home, they eat everything. So they eat us out quicker than they ate us out before. I don't know if this is only happening in my house, because I'm wondering, I've got two boys and a girl, right? And I would like to say the boy eats more than the girl, but it's not that way. Everybody's eating me out. So I don't know if it is because they're home all the time, they're eating so much, but that also has an effect on cooking all the time. If you're a mom that's not into doing that all the time, that could be problematic. Also, you're looking at your support networks. What are your support networks like? So do you sleep? You know, are you able to go to sleep naturally without any problems with going to sleep? You know, what do you think of yourself? How do you feel about yourself, right? And then finally, what's your physical health like? Because if you're unwell, then chances are you would have, yes, Louisa, I eaten plenty too. I had to watch myself because that physical health thing, I'm short, right? So if anybody knows me, I'm usually I'm very straight to people. I'm not a midget, but I'm, just about 5 feet, right? So the last thing you need is a short little girl that's big and fat. So I'm always worried about, how we eat and how much I'm getting done and so on. So a lot of times what we do is we have to be aware of, our health. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Janelle. Yeah. Yeah. The little people eating us out and we ourselves and the snacks though. Oh my goodness, they don't like normal everyday snacks. The things that they usually want. So all of these things are affecting us, and we supposed to be able to talk about this. I don't want people to feel, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't say this or I shouldn't say that. It's my kid and I love them. You know what? This is your forum. The kids are theirs. And if you want to say something or you want to vent, I mean, this is not a session for, counseling. But if you have something to say that's happening to you too, you'd be surprised. Saying it might actually make somebody else feel better because they're not the only person going through things, right? Okay. So I'm going back to my little PowerPoint. So I want you to think of certain signs of burnout. All right. So one of the first set of signs of burnout is loss of energy, where you feel so tired and heavy, and you're thinking to yourself, why do I feel so tired all the time? They come to you and they're talking to you, and your brain is fogged up like, what? What are they saying? Right? But it's okay because at the end of the day, all of this is a sign of burnout, and burnout is happening to a lot of parents these days. All right, loss of enthusiasm. So the kind of stuff you used to have fun doing before, well, right now we can't go by the beach. They're home with us, and normally all now we may take them a little mini break. So if you find the house is too miserable, you say, all right, well, come on. And you pack them. Well, when I was younger, my mom used to pack us into a bus. And we used to use a little blue bus. And I'm kind of selling up my age, but I didn't kind of tell her I have a 22-year-old, right? So I'm over 40. And we used to go with the bus and jump on the bus and go to, like Manzalina or Mearu on that stretch there. So we used to do stuff like that just to relax. And, if you find that things that you usually like to do, you're struggling with enjoying it anymore, then you may have to look out that you're actually starting to show signs of burnout. Fatigue is something like loss of energy, except that, it's more than that, where it actually affects your muscles, actually start to feel very tired and drawn. You walk from here to there and they start to hurt. Insomnia, which is another way of saying lack of sleep. Alcohol and drug abuse. Rachel, I agree. 14 days break, right? Yes, I love them to the moon and back, but yes, you feel like you take a break. Do you? Yes, losing focus is also a sign. Do you all know that even within our houses, we can actually make safe space? We'd have to actually tell them, this is my space. Give me a little bit of space. Let mommy get a minute, or mommy and daddy get some time together, because what happens is we're accustomed giving them our all. But if we don't have any more to give, then what happens is we've got nothing. And then we're left feeling drained. And, we're supposed to love them a lot. But what ends up happening is, they draw from us in a negative way, right? Also, with the drug and alcohol abuse, so now, well, marijuana is legal, and some people use it to relax, as well as alcohol is also legal. But even though some of these drugs are legal, what happens is if we are already in a place of burnout and we use these drugs to cope, what would happen is our body will then attach feeling better to the drug. And that's where it becomes a problem. Having your occasional glass of alcohol, I'm not going to judge anybody in terms of, how they relax. But if you're saying that you need to drink in order to feel better, then you'd have to start to check yourself and see if this is something you might want to change, as well as if you're doing it more than you were doing it before. Again, check yourself. It may be that you're having signs of burnout. Absenteeism. Now, a lot of us are home, but you know, those 2-3 days that you have to actually go out to work, we are actually managing to have stuff to either do on those 2-3 days or refusing to go out altogether. That's not a good sign either. That's a sign of burnout and irritability. So the irritability mostly the kids get that one actually. And you know, whoever we live with tend to get the irritability. All right, so things that this is when we know we need help, right? When you start to get physical illness, you start to physically get ill. Are you withdrawing from, you know, things that you usually like or things that you're doing, or even the children? Are you having mood swings? What's your mood like, right? Is it that, you know, 1 minute you're good and the next minute you're angry, or 1 minute you're good and next minute you're feeling to cry, you know, and you don't feel like you have any control over what's happening there? Then it means that things are getting worse. You may need help. Likewise, depression. Now, depression, people use it generally. I'm depressed, but I think we have to be quite clear that depression in itself is an illness with a whole lot of symptoms, all right? And most of those symptoms is a combination of mood, a combination of, like we talked about fatigue before, but a fatigue that goes all through not liking what you're doing anymore, not wanting to do stuff you usually do anymore, and actually starting to lose functioning. So you used to cook and now they could starve for all, you know, and it's not like you want to starve them, but that's how you feel. You feel so overwhelmed that you tell yourself, I just can't get up, or I can't do what I have to do. Should these things be happening to you over a period of, let's say, a month to 2 months, I would suggest you have a chat with your doctor, right? It may mean that you need a little something to help you sleep, or it may mean that you may be showing signs of early depression. Feelings of hopelessness and so on, they tend to be carried on to our kids too, right? Again, we talk about the increased alcohol and drug abuse, where we're using it, we want to stop, but we can't. And then we have exhaustion. So here we go into the awareness part of things. Self-awareness involves reflection, right? Do you have the ability to observe your behavior? And this is where we would need others. Do you ask for help if you need it, right? And how is your ability to remain alert? So these are little questions I want you to ask yourself. So keep them in mind. Do you have the ability to observe your behavior? Can you ask for help if you need it? And how good are you at remaining alert? So some more mindfulness here for you. Now, I want you to use your chat box. I put 3 questions. The first one I want you all to answer. When you were a child, little you, right? So in my case, little Avril and little everybody else that's out there, right? I can't see everybody's name at the moment. Think, what did you want from your parents? Type it. I want you all type it in the chat. This is a safe space, right? So type, what did you want from your parents? Look, remember what little you was like. And in your mind, what did you think you needed from your parents? Love, affection, attention, financial security, yes, thank you. This is all your time to share. Now again, a chance to drink some water. Safe space, good. Love and attention. I'll take a couple more and then I'll ask the next question. Trust to go out. Yes. Thanks, Anjani. Anybody else? Security. Yeah. Love and affection. So love and affection is quite, yes, individual attention. Yeah, good one. Attention, communication, to be heard. D, Gil, yes. All of the above. So quick question now, next one. What things did they do? I don't want you to, I know you can't really talk, Thank you very much, Abby. Protection and communication. What happened that hurt you? Is there anything that happened that really hurt you as a child? Now, I don't want you to go into the situation or whatever it is, but what happened that hurt you? So let's say I wasn't heard, or, you know, I wasn't allowed to say how I feel. I could say that. Or, you know, I felt right, hurt, and when I was ignored, yes, feeling rejected, love another child, felt like another child was loved more. They didn't send me on a school field trip, right? And it hurts, right? Because they probably, right, I was overlooked, yes, and these things hurt, yeah. What else can happen that parents can do? I'll just take a couple more and then I'll move on to the next one. Right. Oh my goodness. I feel the same way. I was the eldest. And it really did feel like I used to get into trouble more than anybody else. You had to be the perfect child, it felt like sometimes. Never gave me a hearing. Yeah, Janelle. Promise things are not fulfilling. Thank you, Abby. Lack of trust. Fighting between parents. Yeah. Not talking about sex. You know, that's interesting. Yeah, those things hit. So next question. When did you feel appreciated? So what sort of stuff made you feel, yeah, boy, that's embarrassing in front of others, different, Ange. Yeah, so when did you feel appreciated? Right, so yes. Thank you, Hadassah. Okay, whenever I was made them proud by getting report cards that were good, getting awards at school, made you feel appreciated by them. Okay. When did you feel appreciated by them? When else? Somebody else. Thank you, Rachel. When you get good grades. Okay, yeah. Grades, awards. When did you feel appreciated by your parents? Oh, nice. When she bought new clothes for a new occasion. Doing well at school, so more grades. You felt appreciated when you reached adulthood, Janelle? It's interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting. Oh, shucks. Okay. You felt appreciated as a child when you gave them money, grades, when you cook. Oh, that's lovely, Mahela. When they realized I was a caring person. So, okay, don't worry, you guys are not done yet. I'm actually enjoying these things. When Granny would come or call with food items or clothes for me all the time. Rita, I think that's her name. Yeah, awesome. So, good evening. Pleased to have you, Elisha. So I'm going to put you another one now. You as a parent. So a new question. What do you want from your child? So we just talked about the parents and how you felt with your parents. What do you want from your child or your children? Yeah, boy, Sharita, that one rough. What do you want from your child? Because a lot of times we as parents want things from our kids. What do you want from your kids? This is you as a parent. You want them to be their best, full respect. Yes, fair enough. Anything else? To learn from our mistakes, yeah, and be better than us. Thanks, Ange. You You want them to be loved, to understand, oh, they're coming at my face, boy. Wait, right? To learn, right? Right, you want them to never to be scared to talk to you, to be respectful, to be the best that they can, open communication, to enjoy their life, to excel in all that they venture to do and appreciate you as their parent. I want my children to be happy, to be resilient, God-fearing, and to have a fulfilling life. I don't want them to have bad experiences that you had, to be confident in themselves and to love themselves. Oh, these are awesome things. I appreciate what little they have. So next question. As a parent, what sort of things that your kids do that hurt you? Lie. Yeah. Thank you, Dee. Lie, be confident. Okay, so thank you, Hadassah. That probably was for the one before. So what sort of things children, your kids do that hurt your feelings, that hurt you? Because listen, all you have feelings too, you know. We've got feelings too. Them little bugs have feelings and they know their feelings. Lies, poor grades. Disobedient, lies, disrespectful. Say mean, hurtful things to each other, not communicating, tells lies, tales, they disobey. Okay, so these are some of the things. Rudeness, taking long to learn to cook. Oh my goodness, I thought it was me alone. I wish my kids could cook. Oh, right. So, okay, so we talk about the things that we want from our kids, right? They don't express themselves about the way they feel. Nothing the kids do hit you, okay? When do you feel appreciated by them? Yeah, the I language, I see. When they're giving you all the sass. Thanks, Heather. So quick question, next one. When did you feel appreciated by them? After this, I'm gonna give you all a break, right? And I'll go back to talking again. My water break will be over. When they give gifts, right? When do you feel appreciated? When they buy gifts? Oh my God, oops, oops, oops. But this is awesome. I like that everybody's answering this so fast that I have to go back. When they buy gifts, they always want to love you up. Oh, Alana, that's lovely. Monique, birthdays, special occasions. All the time, they always do nice stuff for me. When they show love and affection, the love ups. When they talk nice, hugs and kisses. Oh, when I cry, my son tells me I'm the best mom in the whole world. Plus, he makes little cards. Oh, I love those. I'm actually stuck with something hanging from my car because he gave me it and I cannot move it. If anytime he sees me moving it and it's all worn, it looks like a tie, but it says Aidan and Mom. It's like my most favorite thing. When they compliment me for my good cooking, oh, that's nice. Yes, when they cook, when they try to make breakfast, plenty hugs. Yeah. When time for them to sleep, she would come and love up before bed. Okay, so you see, I like that you all have all these, they help with their chores. Yeah. So I like that you all have all these experiences, right? And I'm getting somewhere with all of this. Sometimes the stuff that happened to us when we were kids, right? Remember the stuff that you said back here when you were a child? These things we take into adulthood as parents, and we try to do one or two things. We either try to do everything our parents didn't do, right? And work really hard to be the opposite of what they were, or we do the same things without realizing unintentionally that our parents did for us. All right. So things like grades and awards and all these things, they're important, yeah. But if we're really honest with ourselves, are they more important than a child that's learning or a child that's happy, right? And is it more for other people than us? because, you know, we love them anyway. Look at all this stuff you all said that make you feel appreciated by, you know, when you feel appreciated, you know, and the stuff that you guys, when you said what you wanted from your kids, a lot of people, you know, you talk about grades and awards and all these sort of things. But a lot of times, those things aren't really for us. Because you see, when you started to talk about the stuff that make you feel appreciated by them, you notice the grades weren't in there. Nobody said. It didn't even come back. You talk about what hurt you and you put poor grades. We had different scenarios where we're thinking about, you know, how they behave. Now, lies hurt them because we all know lies, you know, talks about the character and all these things. And, you know, the things that are more important to them are actually the character stuff. So, yes to discipline and no to abuse. So this is not a parenting class, right? This is a mental health class. But what happens a lot of times is some of the things we say to them affect their mental health, right? And it's actually based on our insecurities. So we would say stuff like, you know, long time I can never do this. Long time is not now time. You don't have a say now that the kids being born with cell phones in their hand, because the kids think so differently now than, you know, we thought when we were kids. I don't think so. I think in terms of how they think, the world that they're coming into is actually a different world. It's not them, no. Nobody's going in there and making our kids computer kids. Just our same intelligence that we have, and they have the same sort of intelligence. The only difference is they're coming into a world that is more hostile to them. Why do I say the world is hostile to them? Because the world they're coming into now is asking a lot from them quicker. And because it's asking a lot from them quicker, it's also asking a lot from us quicker. Right? Things like, why are you so stupid? You're so stupid. You know, we just say these things to our kids. And then afterwards, they start to feel bad about themselves. And that's not really what we want to say. We might want to say, you know, what you're doing there, you're smarter than this. Why are you doing this? You're embarrassing me. Because I said so. Do it because I say so. Now, they are getting more information than we got as kids. Do you know your cell phone right now, right? Gives you information, not just from the people near you. You have information from people in foreign countries you have never even visited. And they are more on the computer than we are. They've got information from all over the world. They've got information from people from Trinidad, old, young. And some of the information can be reproduced like it was said today. Oh, I'm sorry. Is everybody hearing me? I'm seeing somebody saying that I'm breaking up. Oh, okay. All right, thanks. So the thing is, our children are getting information, more information than we ever had. Like I told a friend the other day, it's scary now how information comes at us and our kids. Information is no longer just limited to us. It's now all over, and it comes to them from their phones. It comes to them from their friends. You know, long time all we used to be afraid of was school. Now the phone is our new bad guy, but it's also the good guy. It's the same place they get good and bad information. So early o'clock, we've got to teach them how to filter the good and filter the bad. And early o'clock, we've got to teach ourselves and our kids how to be able to manage information. Because the more information you get, not necessarily maybe the best, it may actually make you more stressed. All right. So when we're frustrated and we say things like, get out of my face, it's like telling your child, I don't want to hear you. Or, you know, I'm fed up at you. And these sort of things. I don't want to hear no excuses. That's not being heard. Remember the stuff that we said hurt us as kids? All of that was in there. The excuses, shut up, I'm talking, you know, and we don't want to listen. Then those things actually hurt us and our kids. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Louisa. And that is true. When we tell somebody, shut up, They may reach a point that they would shut up and they would stop talking. And then they may never talk to us again. And then we would say things to them like, I want to hear how you feel, or I want to know what's going on with you. But if you say that, you have to be okay with hearing, Mom, like there was a point in my house where I was asking the kids, you could talk to me, and, being a psych nurse, we try to pull it at the kids too, because I'm learning it at work, so I might as well utilize some of it, right? And one of my sons, he was saying, I don't like it when you use your angry voice. And I'm like, my angry voice? What do you mean? Like, Mommy, when you're angry, it doesn't want to hear us. It is just use your angry voice. And then we had to make a deal that I'd say when about to use my angry voice. So then I used to actually say, listen, the next voice out my mouth to be an angry voice. So that used to be the warning before the quarrel, so to speak. It was so interesting. But they have a lot to say. And because they have a lot to say and a lot's happening with them that never happened with us, then we have to stop and think. We're not perfect, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I have stories with my kids also still, right? And mental health has opened my eyes up to how we can be able to hurt each other, without realizing it, if we're not aware, if we're not making ourselves mindful, right? So we're going to take away all those things now, and we're going to have some stop and starts, right? So instead of just telling you, don't do this, like how we tell the kids, I'm going to start to replace that with some starts. So stop shouting. Take your time out. Just like I always give the kids time out, you take time out too. Take a stroll, take a little, I just call it me time. So you just hear them, Mommy needs some me time. I just take a little walk, take some deep breaths, ask the Father, help me not to finish the children off, and come back, right? And when you come back, you find that your tone is different, because when you shout, it's a way of saying, I'm in control, and it's a way of silencing the other person. So talking nonstop, as you can see, I could talk real fast. So when I quarrel in, you could imagine it's like opening a faucet, right? So I've had to learn to listen. Stop and listen, right? And ask. We accuse them. We say, yes, so this, or how you could do that, and I don't understand. So stop. Yes, Rachel, take some deep breaths. Cool yourself, right? And then you say, what happened there? You'd be amazed the kind of stuff they tell you. You would end up laughing, eh? Some of their thinking, why they do certain things, or sometimes they didn't think. And the fact that you ask them, why did you do that? It allows them to tell you, Mommy, I didn't think. Mommy, I really didn't think. Mommy, I did something wrong. They tell you, because you already put most of this in them. Shortly, little bitty people, those under 5 and stuff, stop giving them more than you think that they can handle. They may be bright with the alphabets and so on, but they are not emotionally intelligent. And you're not going to get them to be emotionally intelligent. Those under fives and under, there's a reason parents who have older children just watch them, but girl, I remember them days. Thank God I can go back there, right? Because there's only so much you could do. That's the stage of teaching. So when they're younger, it's a lot of teaching. When they do something wrong, you have to stop and say, listen, instead of shouting or beating. Don't get me wrong, if our culture is that, you get a little thing sometimes, and I am not here to say yay or nay, all I'm saying is sometimes in the middle of beating and so on, we lose the opportunity to teach, right? So you can start asking questions. Speak in fear. A lot of times we say, you could have killed yourself, or you could have this, or you could have that, and that's the fear. Instead, explain. You can hurt yourself when you do things like that. What do you think can happen if you climb there? If you fall and you hurt your arm or something, what would happen? Giving them ultimatums. Now, a lot of us, we say, I would kill you, I could bring you here, I could take you out. Remember that? Parents used to tell us that. But deep down inside, you know, they can't really kill you. They mean going to jail. When you realize once or twice they promise to kill you, and then afterwards they can't do it. So it's an ultimatum, and it's basically has no teeth. Then they would realize, I could pull one past you. She just gonna make a whole bunch of noise and call that judge. So that is where certain limits come in, right? And you keep them accountable. Believe it or not, as small as they are, you can do that. You can say to them, look, if you don't do your homework, you like TV time. You have an hour of TV time or 2-3 hours. That's another thing. Don't have them on the TV forever because they just soak in all of this in and they come in at you with all the stuff that they see on TV. So if you control the amount of time and at least you know what they're saying, then you can also explain stuff that's happening, right? But anyway, so back to setting limits. If you say you like something, you like doing something, so you like a particular snack or you like, and then you say to them, you don't do this and that doesn't happen. That's real. And you can hold yourself to that. They can bawl, they can scream, they can roll, they can do whatever they want. That's okay. It's just them expending energy. Just tell yourself, this is good exercise. You want to roll? Go ahead, roll. And at the end of that, you're able then to say, okay, you're still not getting whatever because you did not do what you said you would have done. And you would not believe how it makes them sit up and realize, this chick or this fella ain't playing. If I don't do this, I can't get that. You know, the next time you say it, they'll do it, right? Because in the back of their mind, they know they could do what they want. They're not getting what they want because these are the limits that you've set as a parent. And it's going to help you too to be able not to feel frustrated. Because once you give, it's not ultimatum, but once you set your limits and you know there's a limit, they come at you like, I don't know what this conversation is about. We don't talk about this, right? And we say this is the limit. But you'll be amazed. They'll come and try to, you know, work it out and think with you. Good guy, bad guy. Now, I also, you know, I was divorced. And, you know, we have this whole good parent, bad parent thing where like mom, if you're with mom all week long and she's the work mom, when you meet dad, that is all fun, right? Or vice versa. Or you're with dad and dad's the serious guy. And then mom, or even in the same house, you have one good guy and one bad guy. So the good guy does bad talk, the bad guy with the kids. What you are doing is you are basically damaging your army. All your support networks need to be on the same foot when it comes to your kids. It helps you to be able to deal with difficult situations, right? When people work together, it makes it very difficult. So being mindful is basically being aware. A lot of times people think mindfulness and they think of this person sitting like Buddha and, you know, you're taking deep breaths and all that good stuff. It's so much more than that, all right? And knowing where you are in your head, you can go online on YouTube, you just press mindfulness and videos will come up and you can do this on your own time. So I'm not going to use your time unnecessarily right now to do that, but write it down somewhere in your pen and paper, write down the word mindfulness. Being mindful is simply being aware and making choices based on your level of awareness. The more aware you are, is the better you're able to control everything, your mood. And in controlling your mood, you can control the kids. Because if you're not in control of you, remember the airplane? If you're not in control, you can't help them. So stop trying to help them and you're not in control. You're gasping for air and they're breathing fine. But they are then looking at you as to how they should react and you're losing it. So stop losing it. Right. So being mentally healthy is not hard. See my fella here trying to figure things out. Get some rest, guys. I don't know why is it somewhere that, you know, like how babies and kids don't like to go to sleep? Why do adults don't want to sleep? I'm talking to myself too, right? Get some rest, right? And, you know, being mentally healthy is not hard, right? It's actually harder if you're mentally ill and unhealthy. It's harder to get stuff done. So I'm going to give you some suggestions as I close, and then I'll give a break and you can ask me questions if you wish. So my suggestions to you guys, those little people that you've got, talk to them. You're going to have some fun. pull them aside, sit with them, and oh Lord Jesus, when we die, we have the rest of the time to sleep. Well, the thing is, some of us will die a whole lot quicker if we don't get some rest now, because we'd be so overwhelmed, right? I'm just reading some of your notes here. Right, okay, right. I want you to be okay with being wrong. Being a parent don't mean that you're right. We grew up like that with our parents telling us, I say so. And, you know, we used to believe that, you know, them is like some gurus. So when we got older and we realized, wait now, and we hear them talk about their stories or their friends talk about them, and as adults, we read between the line and realize, but wait, you wasn't the same one that used to did it with me. So hear what? Talk to your children and be open to being wrong. And you could tell them stuff without being too explicit or too difficult, but you break things down to exactly where they are, and you will be amazed. You can explain to them the hardest of concepts by just taking your time and breaking it down, right? Know you and manage your emotions. So all of this comes as part of being aware, right? Managing your emotions means do what you need to do. If it is you're upset, do what you need to do to feel better. If you're depressed, do what you need to do. Get help if you need help. There's nothing wrong with getting help. It's actually a sign of strength to get help. It's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of weakness not to get help. Because then what happens is things get worse. And then situations get out of control, and then it's harder to stop, like an avalanche coming down a hill, right? Take, in terms of less stress, identify your stressors. And you know what? Do some pampering. I taught my little 10-year-old how to give massages. Bless his heart. Kill him that he's the best massager in the world, because that's what I tell him. And we give each other massages. We do little shoulder stuff. And, you know, my girl, you know, we would do little soap foot, scrub them, put on movies, movie night, game night, and have, for the single parents, I know this is going to sound really weird for the single parents, but I do it and it helps. It's called date night. You have date night with yourself. And on date night, you either could give them to somebody else, just like what you do if you're going on a date. And I know people can't go out right now, but if you have nice little scented stuff that you like, you put that on, and you know you have a nice little, I like nice showers with nice scented stuff. And then I come in my room and I put my movie on, something that I know nobody else want to watch, but I want to see it. So I like romance comedies and those miserable things that everybody's be like, gosh, you could watch that. Yeah, I put it on, and that's me. And I would sit down and watch my little Notting Hill or my little Bridget Jones Diary or whatever I feel like watching on the night. And that's my night for me, right? Whatever you like. You like to read, you like to watch movies, I also like football. Whatever you do, have some time with yourself. And you can do it too with them too. So you can have date time with them, game night or whatever with them. When I say date night with your kids, you can make everybody dress up and come around the table and have, you know, fun time together. All of that you can do. And all of those things are perfectly healthy, and it makes everybody happy. Have some hobbies. Get a little life, because sometimes we make them our lives, and then what happens is when they're not super happy and grateful to us, we get really upset with them, right? But if you have a life of your own, you're going to encourage them to also have hobbies of their own and be more independent, right? So plan your activities. Having a healthy mind involves planning. So yeah, you have blow up pool, put your blow up pool, and you know what, don't just put it, go extra, because it's the extra stuff and the little extra stuff they don't forget. So you do, so you get a little glass, you make some you put some umbrellas, or you make some bendy straws, and you mix a little drink and call it all your cocktail. You can put a little something in it for you if you want, or if not, you could just, you know, make it fussy, fuss with them, you know. And the fuss is not expensive. You think fuss is not expensive. The other day, like my son likes to make like these tent things. So we did that. And I had to watch TV under the tent. And that was his idea of his fun night, right? So talk to them, find out what they like. And in between, you're gonna have to make some little changes and allowances for you, but yeah, and come up with some activities, make some plans, whether it's for the day, for the month, once a month, because some people can't do it every week, whatever. Get some rest. Manage your finances. Now, managing your finances. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Linda. No, what you're feeling old for, you're as young as you feel or you make yourself feel. If you want to feel it to old and so on, it's your choice. And I don't know if anybody wants to make that choice, right? So in managing your finances, it's simple. Pen and paper. A lot of times things are happening to us and it's because we're not aware. If it is that you take pen to paper and everything you buy, you write down what you buy and how much you spend for it, eventually what you start to notice are trends that you can then realize where you're spending your money, where you might be able to save, where instead of buying something, you may be able to make it, right? Little things that you can do to help with finances. And those are the people that eat so much, all right? Surprisingly enough, we think eating healthy is expensive. It really isn't. If we buy things in bulk, especially if we buy things that are in season, all you need is a good deep freeze and you can actually either blanch them. You could go online and figure out how to blanch, or you steam stuff and freeze them in Ziploc bags, and you can reuse these Ziploc bags and then use them at different times after. Buying in bulk is actually cheaper than buying one, right? That little tips to help your finances there. And having a balanced diet for you and the kids. Drink water. Now, sometimes something not in season, if you froze it, you can turn it into a smoothie, like bananas. You can turn them into smoothies. Pineapples right now are in season. When something is in season, it tends to be less expensive to buy, right? Drink water. Avoid dehydration, because dehydration actually has a big part to play in fatigue and making you feel very tired. Avoid foods that irritate you. Believe it or not, foods do have an effect on our mood. And exercise with your kids, just like how you exercise. As you can see, the little fella playing here, and mom's serious and the girl's serious, and he playing. That's okay. They don't have to get it perfect. They're just with you. That's all they care about. Remember with the stuff you wanted? That's all they really care about, to know they're with you and you love them. That's their main concerns. All right? And breathe. As adults, we tend not to take full breaths. We take a lot of shallow breaths. So I'd like you all to take a deep breath with me and let it out. And realize that it is A-okay and you are fine. All you need to do is just get better a little bit and a little bit better every single day. And you and your kids are going to be fine. Okay, so at the end of my presentation, I don't know if you have any other questions before we leave. Thank you very much for your time and allowing me to share this hour with you.
What is my... Good afternoon, everyone. I am trying to get my camera on. Uncle Justin, you go ahead by the meantime now while I fix up my camera.
All right, nice, for sure, for sure. And let's say, Uncle Justin, I believe everyone in this chat older than I am. So.
Oh God, oh God, oi!
You understand? I see baby on the chat here right now. Pleasant night to everyone. And again, we just, as we always say, we just thankful that you all are grateful, I should say, take this time out of your Friday to really participate in something that will be beneficial to you and your well-being. You could have choose to be doing anything at this time. Some might be linemen, someone to do all kind of thing. It's Friday at the end of the day. But you choose to spend some time to invest in yourself for your own development and betterment of your mental health. You all bring this thing to a close. Tonight will be it's the final night of the mental health workshop. And as we've been saying all week, it does not end here. You just have to stay connected. Stay tuned to both the Futsal 868 and the Dash Race Youth Empowerment. And you will be updated as time goes along as the future positive engagement and endeavors. Also, I want to take this time to send some love and appreciation to Ms. General Small Comments, who has been a very instrumental individual in everything that has been happening throughout this program. So we want to thank her and let her know that we love her and appreciate her very much. And yeah, Jeffrey, I want to thank you as well for just being a big brother and having this great partnership and working together to accomplish great things to better people within our communities and our country. And we know we have a lot more big, great projects in the planning. So it's just up to you all parents to stay connected with us, stay tuned with us, so we could take full advantage of all the opportunities that is presented to you all. So thanks again. We appreciate you all. Take care of yourself. Take time to invest in yourself. We hope that the knowledge that was imparted on you all is very useful and that will help you to be better human beings. All right, thank you again. Back to you, Jeffrey.
Thanks very much, Justin. I wouldn't call you Uncle Justin for real because the parent segment. But good evening to everyone. We're not going to stay much longer given the fact that, you know, it is a Friday evening and we want to spend some quality time with our families, as Avril would have suggested. And one of the things I want to add to what Avril would have said is, as a family, we need to learn to, first and foremost, pray together. If there's one thing I must say in terms of my testimony, is my father got up every morning and brought us all to the bed to pray together. And a family that prays together, stays together. Yes, as a child, I was real wayward. I'm not going to lie, but I found that in recent times, especially last 2 to 3 years, and more so for this year, I have really been able to getting up early and getting that time together with my mindfulness and spending time with Christ and trying to get the family together when it comes to praying, right? My son doesn't live with me, but I make sure and spend that time with him, you know, and have some conversations with him and even pray for him and pray with him when it's that time. During the exams, every single day, I took the time to pray with him. That's very important. And secondly, as a family, we always had lunch together on a Sunday. We were taught how to set the table. We were taught how to be able to eat properly. And then lastly, I will also suggest, guys, no matter what situation you are in, try to buy books for your children at least once a month or once every other month. For me, my mother and father invested in the Hardy Boys. We have and the Nancy Jews for the common entrance, well, SCA students. I show my age by saying common entrance. And also we had a library or a study, right? So it was very important that they encourage learning. And I said lastly before, but this is lastly. My father, as a physical education teacher, made sure that we balanced studies, very important, studies and exercise. And I know that there are many parents in this chat who sacrifice their child being involved in sporting activity for education. You are setting up your child for failure. Please note that. My son went to Ragunanan Road, and hear the name, Ragunanan Road, and he passed for his first choice, and he still maintained being active in school holistically. And that is generational passing on from my father to us as all his 5 children, and to me, to my son. So I'm saying to your parents, please pray with your children, spend time with them spiritually, spend time with them as regards to reading or setting an environment of positivity, and spend time with them in terms of physical activity. Please, I'm begging you all for that. Before I continue with what I have to say, I would like 2 males in this chat, 2 fathers in this chat, and 1 mother to be able to give a testimony as regards to what this conversation with Ms. Carter would have done for you and how you're going to impart it before we leave. So I'm asking 2 fathers. Yesterday we got all women. I want to get 2 fathers in the chat and 1 female. So anybody, any takers before I go into the list and I start call names? Please, any fathers? Can we get them going, please?
Have any? Wait, have any?
Ladies, ladies, it might look like you all might have to help out here, you know, to start the fray. So the ladies want to be able to come on and say something, please, as regards to the conversation that we had today, this evening. Just a quick testimony, ladies. Anyone?
Hi, good night.
Good night.
I'm Alana. Good night,
Hi,
everybody.
Alana.
It was helpful. It was, I mean, some of the things that she spoke about, you know, I identify with them. One of the things that she said about telling the child, I am going to use my angry voice now. I think I'm going to be using that because sometimes my children tell me that I shout and they don't like my shouting voice. So I think that's one of the techniques that I'm gonna be using going forward, and maybe that will help me to not to be using my angry voice going forward with them. You know, it was very informative. You know, the me time, spending time with yourself. For me right now, working from home, balancing the work from home, the children at home, and all these sort of different things is very difficult, and there are limited boundaries. But coming out from this, I'm going to try and set some more boundaries in the sense that I'm going to set aside some time for me and try to put in some of those things that she talked about, you know, having a date night with me. I mean, I have a husband, but I could try the date night with me and probably date night with him after. So I'm very thankful for being here. I mean, last night I missed last night because I fell asleep. But I'm happy that I was able to come in this afternoon, and I learned a lot. I'm going to try to really implement some of those things, and I'm very thankful for you guys for putting on this session because both my son and daughter were part of it during the course of this week. I was listening yesterday with my son, and I learned a lot of stuff there with him as well. So I'm very thankful for you guys, and I've learned from it, and I'm going to try to implement some of the things that I've learned in my family life. So that's it for me. Thanks again.
Which part?
Hello? Did you ask me a question? You
What
broke up
Trinidad and
there.
Tobago you are from, Alana? What part of Trinidad and Tobago you are from?
Crown Trace Enterprise.
Thank you very much, Alana.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
Ms. Carter, so I just want one more person, one more testimony as regards to how this session went for them, please. And I'm gonna read it out, if I may, as regards to men. When I asked the men, it was very interesting to say the least. Let me see if I could find it. That is what was said. So with the woman at her hair, I would like have to be interdependent, but at this time, as Ms. Carter said, taking care of your, making sure that you are okay first. So you have to show yourself self-love, and with that interdependence, be able to help your companion.
I believe you're sticking a bit there, Mr. Jeffrey. You're actually freezed at this time.
You hear me now?
Yeah, you freezed again.
Okay.
But the audio
You,
is hold us a little off.
okay. So I'll just, for the sake of the internet, I'll just take off my camera for a little bit. Right, so what I'm going to ask guys is that what we have done is that we have put our social media contacts in. So can you please follow Trace Youth Empowerment as well as Futsal 868 for any further information as regards to to all aspects of the engagement that we'll be having in the future. And we want to say on behalf of the Trace Youth Empowerment Committee and the Futsal Association of Trinidad and Tobago, thank you very much for attending, for your children to be a part of this session, and we look forward to having you be a part of future engagements as regards the Futsal Association and Trace Youth Empowerment, both virtual and in person. Because remember, Trace Youth Empowerment Committee is a NGO for sport and cultural activity, and the Futsal Association of Trinidad and Tobago is a national sporting organization. Thus, we have activities both in virtual and in person. So follow us on our social media contacts and on platforms so you can get to find out more about us. So again, we wish you all God's richest blessings to one and all. Please be safe. As we say the 3 W's, wear your mask properly, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Please be safe, guys. Thank you very much, and be blessed. Good night, everyone.
Blessed night to all. Blessed night.
Okay, good night. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.